Hello, I'm Roger Bisbee from the Skill Builder channel, and in this video I want to show you how to solder like a professional. With so many different ways of joining pipes, you've got crimping, you've got compression fittings, you've got push fit, so why would you choose soldering over those other methods? Well, one thing is that soldering is quite neat, it's tried and tested, it can be, if it's done properly, very reliable. It's also cheaper if you're buying fittings such as this. These would be cheaper than the equivalent compression or push fit or even a crimp fitting. I also like it because when you're burying pipes behind boxwork, if you're putting behind tiling and things like that, there's always that little bit of uncertainty with a push fit. Is the O-ring going to fail at some time? If you make a good soldered joint, it should be there for the next 30, 40, even 50 years. But of course, let's be fair, there are disadvantages to soldering. One thing is it requires a degree of skill, and of course you're working with a naked flame, and in some buildings that we work in they specify no naked flames. The other great disadvantage, which has happened to me on many occasions, is that if you do get a leak, you've got to drain down the whole system to fix the leak. You cannot solder on a wet pipe. You have to have the pipe absolutely dry. Even a little bit of residual water will turn to steam and blow through the solder of the fitting and cause a leak. So make sure all the water's out of the system. If you have to, use a vacuum cleaner or something like that, wet and dry vacuum cleaner. The other golden rule is, apart from keeping the pipes dry, is keep them clean. You cannot solder with dirty pipes. So the good news is that these days we've got self-cleaning fluxes, but there's a limit to what a self-cleaning flux will do. I deliberately chose this pipe because it's dirty, and you can see it's got a bit of verdigris dirt on it. So if we used a self-cleaning flux on that and we tried to put some solder on it, we would be struggling. So you can see that the self-cleaning flux has already started to do its work. A little bit of heat, and then you can see that the solder's run just where the self-cleaner is, quite nicely there. If we tried up here where there isn't any flux and we haven't cleaned the pipe, you'll see exactly what flux does. You can see that it's taken a little bit to there, but it wouldn't be enough to make a leak-free joint. It's essential that we flux up, also clean any dirty pipe. Now there's lots of different ways of cleaning pipe. This little gizmo is supposed to clean it. It's got kind of emery inside it, but actually after a while they don't work that well. What I do is just get myself a little bit of light abrasive, just give it a shine round like that, and you can see that it's made a nice job. I'm not really interested in cleaning this down there, because if any solder was to run down there, that would actually help stop it. There are people that say, oh, you've got to deburr that pipe, you've got to get rid of any lip on the inside because it causes the turbulence. There's truth in that, but I don't know many plumbers who deburr all their pipes. Just give the inside of the fitting a shine up. Now this is a soldering fitting. A soldering fitting has the solder inside the fitting itself in that ring there, and that gives you a clue to how much solder you need to make a decent joint. They reckon there's about 5 times more solder than you actually need inside a soldering fitting. So when we pop that on there, we don't need to feed it with any solder. Although a lot of plumbers do, they give it a little dab just to make sure, but there's really no need at all. On the other side, I'm going to use what we call an end feed fitting. Now these are a lot cheaper. It means you have to feed the solder in to the fitting as you heat it up, and that's what most professionals will use. We're basically about saving a bit of money.
So why do some people call it soldering?
Americans call it soldering. They've dropped the L out of it for some reason, and yeah, it's just like tomato, you know, there's a lot of other
Let's call the whole
things.
thing off.
Aluminium. The reason I want to show you this rather than some other configuration is because the bit a lot of people struggle with is doing that bottom joint. It's easy enough to do one going into the top, but when it comes to doing the bottom joint, they do struggle sometimes. So we're going to show you that. Now the inside of that fitting is clean, so I'm not even going to bother cleaning that out anymore. I'm just going to wipe a little bit of flux around there. You can put the flux on the pipe, or you can put it on the fitting, or you can put it on both. But what you don't want to do is apply too much flux, because if you apply too much flux, it's going to run down that pipe. This is a little thing that you can buy. It's a little device for fluxing called a Fluxuator. Screw it on there. You've got a tube full of flux. We just wind a bit of flux up into the device there. You can see it coming up. Put the end of the pipe there, give it a little going over, and that should give us the correct amount of flux. Put that into there. Same goes for the other end. Give it a little spin. So some people find that a useful device. I think I'll stick to my flux brush, but it does save you that risk of overfluxing, so we'll give it a go on this one as well. Now this isn't essential, but I like to do it, and that's to wipe off the residue of flux before you start. If you're trying to get a good looking joint, then you don't want the solder running all the way down the pipe on the outside of the pipe, creating what we call Christmas trees, which were lots of little balls of solder everywhere. Just a word about the heat. You don't want to catch anything on fire, so use a heat mat. You can put that between the pipe and the wall if you like. You can use a heat shield. You can use anything basically that won't catch fire. You can even get a spray which you spray on flammable surfaces just to keep it cool. And it's also a good idea to keep a little spray bottle of water around in case anything does it, like a small wood shaving or something catches fire. Have a wet rag as well. I've got a fire extinguisher. We're supposed to bring that onto every job as a condition of the insurance. And the other thing is, after we've soldered a joint, you're supposed to hang around for about half an hour just to make sure that nothing has caught fire. So strictly speaking, if I work in a customer's house and I do a 10-minute job, I've still got to hang around for another half hour just to make sure that nothing is smouldering before I leave. So the other very important thing is I like to clip all the pipe work first, you know, put the clips in, then you're sure where all the pipes are going, and then you can make sure that the pipe is steady and it's not moving around, because when you're soldering you don't want the pipework moving around. Now these, if you put them too close to the fittings, will melt, so putting them slightly down is a good idea. And if you're worried, you can put a wet rag round anything that you don't want to heat up, and that could be anything like valves, it could be anything that contains an O-ring. If there's a plastic fitting nearby, wrap it up in a wet cloth like that. Let's leave that in there, by the way, just to see exactly what happens with the heat when we start putting it on. Now, it doesn't really matter what you use in the way of a blow lamp. Some kind of gas-fired torch, you can pick them up for as little as £15, and butane is fine. You don't need to have this, what they call MAP gas, which is basically now just propane. You can use a cooler gas because we don't need a huge amount of heat for this soldering. So the question people ask is how much solder to use, because if you start feeding it in, you don't know how much you've used. So what I do is I bend it over. If I'm working on a 22mm pipe, I give it about that much, 22mm. You just zigzag the bit of solder down like that. At least you know that if you get that much solder in there, it must have gone somewhere. If you're putting more than that in, chances are it's coming down the outside of the pipe, or it may be coming down the inside of the pipe, which is worse because you get little solder balls and you get clogged up pipes. So let's get going, and it's going to be a bit noisy, so I'll try and talk over it, but you'll see what I'm doing here. Nice, gentle bit of heat. Now, it's very, very important that you don't touch these joints, obviously because they're hot, but also we don't want to disturb the pipework while it's cooling down. Sometimes it takes 20-30 seconds for it to cool down enough till you can start to move the pipework around. So leave it Don't rush it. People use a wet rag sometimes. I've been told that can crack the solder. I don't know whether that's true or not, but if you're going to use it, just use it nice and gently like that. So some plumbers, notably James from Plumbers Parts, like to do a nice shine up job on their pipework, and I fully approve of that. I think it's good, especially if you're charging the customer money. There you are, that's done. The bottom one will be quick. The bottom one will be quick because it was already heated by the top one, because as I said, it's a good conductor. The solder has run perfectly around the whole fitting, and on the bottom there, it's run nicely around the fitting. If it's your first time soldering and you want a bit of belt and braces, the Yorkshire fitting with the solder already in is a good bet for you. The most important thing about cleaning up is that we need to get rid of any residue of flux, because flux is a corrosive, it's acidic, so it will continue to sit on the pipe and corrode the pipe. I have seen examples where people have left a lot of flux on there and it's eaten through the pipe after sort of 15 years or whatever and caused a leak. So get rid of it, make sure everything's nice and clean, even if you don't go to James's Duraglit shop. I think he's got it in his Amazon shop. The other thing, flush the pipework through, because it's got to be clean on the inside. Flux is corrosive, so if you've done some central heating, if you've added a couple of radiators to your house, you need to make sure you flush the system through. Clean water will do it. Thanks for watching. Come back and see us soon. I'm going to show you how to test this pipework with air in another video, so keep watching, because you don't need to fill it up with water in order to find out whether you've got any leaks, and that way you don't have to drain it all down if you have got a leak. I use air testing, and I tend to pump it up 3 or 4 bar and leave it there overnight just to make sure the whole thing is perfectly sound.